What's going on, man?
Oh, it's not too much, man. Just, another day doing
How
the
are
thing.
how are things
Dadding.
at the yeah, you're dadding all the time, always dadding at the Aikens household.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a fact for sure.
I noticed your Lenny Lou, Lennon had a birthday recently. That's got to be crazy to think she's already a year old.
Yeah, she did, man. It's every, do you have kids?
I do. I have three boys.
Yeah. So it feels like every day lasts a week,
Yep.
and then a year goes by and it feels like you just blinked and it was gone.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I think that's just how it goes. As a dad, you kind of somewhat of just like survival mode every day
The days are
until they,
long, but the years are short. Is what they
and
say.
that statement, I've always thought it was cliche and dumb, but now I totally agree with that statement. So
Right. Well, would you like to add another kiddo? I know this is kind of out of left field, but at some point, or we go with the party of five for the Aikens house?
there are many days that I wake up and I say we could be done.
Yeah.
But it's like every time they hit a new age, I'm just like, man, this is easy, and then obviously there's hard days or whatever. But I think for me, it's like the first 6 months of a baby's life are the toughest, I think,
Yep.
for anybody. And it kind of makes you go, okay, we're done. And then they turn one, and you're like, well, I kind of want to do that again. So,
Yeah. For me, it's
my,
like, oh, this is the last time they're going to be this age, or I'm going to have a kid that's three,
yeah,
and it kind of
exactly.
gets you a little bit, pulls you back in.
Yeah, no, my wife has always had five kids on her heart, and so we're really passionate about adopting again, and also maybe want to have one more, but we'll see. It's kind of all in the Lord's timing, but we do want to have a couple more at least. So
That's cool. Well,
I'm
let's
about to
talk.
buy a van, like a huge sprinter van for all the kids. I'm about to have to ride around.
That's
So
awesome. They'll know you're coming.
yeah.
What's your country song? This thing has turned into a huge hit, man. Congrats.
Thank you, man. It felt super special the day that we wrote it. And in a year where you don't really get any validation, from the road, you're kind of just looking to Instagram and the charts for that validation. But it has been a really cool way to kind of kick off this new album cycle we're about to get into. So we have a record coming out April the 30th, and just super excited to get this music out. I mean, I've been working on it since beginning of 2019. So it's really fun, man. Really, really cool to see your first single off a new record have such a good reaction.
Yeah, let's talk about the album since you brought it up. Country Again, Side A.
Yeah,
Uh, I mean, Growing Up is one of the songs on it.
yeah,
Want It Again. Both songs
yeah,
that you've done online before. We've kind of seen
yeah,
versions of those. Tell
yeah.
me, tell me about Growing Up, because to me this seems kind of like a bookend to 16 a little bit. I really like
Yeah,
this
man.
one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, 16 has always been, if I could describe me in a song, like if I just had to sit down and write a song, something like 16 would come out of me. That's like where I naturally go
Yeah.
with a guitar, melodically, lyrically. I love when choruses change. I love when there's a bunch of content in the verses. I love a good bridge. And Growing Up was kind of that song to me. And it kind of just felt like if I looked over the past decade of my life, like the person I was from like 20 to 23, and then from 23 to 26, we're completely opposite. And then now the person from 26 to 30 is the most different shift that has ever been, And so Growing Up is just kind of this progression of like every 3 years, I feel like I'm an adult. And then 3 years goes by and I'm like, I was definitely still a kid 3 years ago. And it's kind of just like, I hope I never lose that kidness inside of me, you know what I mean? But also maturing at the same time. And so Growing Up is one of my favorite tracks off this record. And yes, there's gonna be 11 songs on this side. Where side B will come out later on this fall.
Okay.
We recorded 25 songs in the studio, which is what we always do. But we decided to kind of put out somewhat of a double album, but not put them out at the same time. So just getting really excited to play them live at some point.
Do you record? Where do you do the studio thing? Is that at your house?
I thought I was going to do that, but then I found that I'm not as smart as I thought I would be running Logic and Pro Tools. So I just refer to the professionals for that.
Yeah.
But we got in the studio and got to record, which was very, COVID protocols put in place and all that kind of stuff, which I thought was going to be a very strange vibe, but somehow we turned out with a really cool record. Probably my favorite record I've ever got to make. So,
Well, we're looking forward to that. I know your fans are super pumped about it. You talked about getting back out on the road, and I noticed that you're playing some shows at Billy Bob's Texas, legendary
yeah.
venue, Dallas Fort Worth. I have to admit, the wife and I bought tickets to this. We're going to be there on Friday
Yes.
night.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. That's so cool. Yeah. When that idea got brought to me, there was no even thinking about it in my brain. I was like, I don't even care what's happening those days. We'll be there, And even my wife was like, dang, I'm excited for you to play a show again. And I was like, I never thought I'd hear that come out of your mouth. Just because we've done so many of them, in 10 years and gone all the time. And we've gotten some great downtime here at the house, but it's time to put a guitar back in the hand and get to go sing for people. So yeah, 3 nights at Billy Bob's, man. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Gonna be wild. When was the last show? Do you remember?
Last real show was October 12th, 2019. Not that I'm counting, but
wow. So you were like, it was early. I mean, you had not started touring again in 2020.
nope. But yeah, our tour in 2020 was supposed to start in May, and obviously, that did not happen. So